The following story was submitted by a former intern at KCCI TV in Des Moines, Iowa. My first job out of college was at KCCI TV, a CBS affiliate in Des Moines, Iowa. Here's my story. I'm a half-black, half-Jewish lesbian. Part of the job was an unpaid internship for grad school and a paid position in production. My coworkers asked me questions about my black experience like, why are black people so poor? I was being paid for 20 hours a week while working for 40 because of the unpaid internship. I had two bosses. The boss of my internship was a white man, and the boss of the news was a white woman, who was a lesbian too. The internship required that I ride in the car with my white male boss every day to shoot footage of the houses for a weekly program. This man played conservative radio every day. Sean Hannity was the most common. I never said a word about it, making polite conversation without ever acknowledging Hannity's hate speech. One day, Hannity had on a guest talking about how slavery should have never been abolished. My boss proceeded to explain to me why slavery was a good thing in this country and black people were better off then. I attempted to win the argument by insisting that the freedom of my black life matters. We agreed to disagree. My white lesbian boss was adopting a mixed-race baby, so she had questions. She wanted to understand my hair and advice on how to raise a mixed-race baby. When I graduated, I put in my 2 weeks notice, but I didn't stay for my 2 weeks. I was in a personal relationship that turned abusive, so I told my boss and asked if it was okay to leave town. She agreed. But when I filed for unemployment later on, I didn't qualify because she wouldn't hire me back. This was my first job, but the experience would forever shape how I navigated my career in the entertainment industry. And I have more stories. First of all, I want to say thank you for sharing this story with us. A lot of what I've heard from my mixed friends and coworkers over the years is that white people feel a little too comfortable being racist with them right there. I can't speak to what that's like firsthand because, well, I'm not mixed. But what I find especially disgusting about this is the fact that there's a lot of white people who don't understand that there's a power dynamic from both their race and from them being your boss. As an intern or a new employee, an entry-level employee, there's only so much that you feel comfortable saying to literally anybody above you, let alone somebody who's making a comment that hurts you at your very core of your being. The fact that you're bringing these types of things up in a work setting already tells us a lot about who you are, but now I have to also worry about my career if I try to put you in place for something that I know is wrong. So somebody making a casual comment about black people being better off during slavery, who signs my paychecks and who I spend every single day with, what are you supposed to say to this person without putting your job in jeopardy? And especially if it's the beginning of your career, that's a difficult space to navigate. It's really upsetting, but unfortunately a lot of black people do deal with this in their first work setting, and that sets the tone for what they have to expect from pretty much everywhere they go after that. Feeling like they're constantly having to be torn down, bow their heads, and just make sure that they stay in line long enough to make a decent wage. Once again, thank you for submitting that story. And if any of you guys have similar stories from your first job, from an internship, from anything where there was just a power dynamic at play, please let's go ahead and talk about it in the comments down below. I really would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. Thanks.